Hey guys, it's Will here, Potato Strong. Just another update. I wanted to mostly tell you about these soy curls that I got, and I've told you about them before. But it's by a company named Butler. So you can get them at butlerfoods.com. And if you buy a big box of it, you can order from them directly. But I got mine at naturalfoodpantry.ca in Canada. And they're also on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description below. But I've never really seen anything like these before in terms of like what you would call fake meats. These are just 100% soybean, non-GMO. And they, I don't know how they do it, but it's the most amazing texture. Kind of like, I mean, it's been a long time, but chicken strips or beef strips, like in a stir fry or something. I'll show you a couple pictures. I recently made a jerky, which was really good because they sell a product that's a vegan jerky using soy curls, and it's amazing, but it does have oil. So I'm probably going to tweak it and make it as tasty, and you have to make the marinade, so you want it to be as flavorful and strong as you can. But so I made a jerky. And it's just I just have it in a container in the cupboard. And the other thing is fajitas. They're just absolutely amazing. And if you've made fajitas, regular fajitas before, shouldn't be a problem, but basically I fry up onion and strips of green and red pepper if you want. And I just fry those in a pan, add a little bit of water, and then I put in a fajita mix, like you can get those packets. Sometimes people are concerned with sodium and stuff like that, so you could probably look up like a chili powder mix that you could make with different spices. And then I add the soy curls. Now the soy curls are, what you do is you just, in general, is you soak them in water. And because they're dehydrated, they rehydrate. You can drain off the water, squeeze out some of the water, and then you just dump it in the pan and mix it in with the fajita mix and that. So there's a bit of liquid there, and like from the frying the veggies and that. But you don't want it too liquidy because it'll, like if you put it in your tortilla wraps, it'll kind of drip, I noticed. So you can either drain off some of the liquid or just try to use as little liquid as you can when you're frying up the veggies. But because of the fajita mix, which is a spice, sometimes it's nice to have a bit of liquid just to help it spread out within the mixture of onions and green pepper, and get it to coat everything. And it's just I like a bit of heat, so I actually added some more chili powder. There's so many things you could do. So then I put it in just a whole wheat tortilla wrap, and I add salsa on top. I use an extra chunky hot salsa from President's Choice, but you can use whatever you want. And the jerky is basically soy sauce, boiled water, onion garlic powder, and then there's all sorts of things, liquid smoke people use. I ended up using a chipotle powder, which has some heat in it, in a smoky flavor to it, and sriracha, and I mean, there's so many things you could do. The other thing I did, I think I might have mentioned this, was with my udon noodle, my stir fry, once you soak them, I just add them to a pan on their own and add soy sauce. And you can just fry them like on their own. And that way, if you want to brown them, and then you could dump them into your stir fry. But they don't, in general, you're just kind of warming them up. So once they're, with the jerky, I actually, instead of using just a water mixture to rehydrate them, I use this marinade for jerky, like soy sauce and all the onion powder and all that stuff that I just mentioned, and then I bake them for about 90 minutes at 175. That was the lowest my oven goes, 175 Fahrenheit. And so if you have a dehydrator, you could dehydrate them, but I went for at least just around 90 minutes. But it's up to you as far as you know, how dried out you want them to be, and then they'll get maybe crispy or crunchy. So I didn't want that to go that far. But the other thing is, because it is soybean, they are higher in fat and protein. So I think the fat content is around 40% because of it was 4.5 grams for 100 calories. So times that by 9, 36. Yeah, so that's about 40 calories. So it's about 40%. So some people have obviously expressed concerns with that. So you want to, you know, use your discretion as far as how often you have them, and if you're trying to lose weight. So, you know, you want to watch those types of things. But like I put it in the same camp as a tofu and a lot of these other soy-based products. Now, the great thing about these things is, like I said, they're 100% whole soybean. So you don't have to worry about like the isolated soy protein that a lot of the fake meats are. The other thing I noticed with a lot of soy products like Gardein, chicken, and all the fish in that is that a lot of times they're kind of greasy. They coat them with a lot of oil, and there's like a batter on the chicken nuggets and that. So if you're looking for a meaty sort of chickeny beef strips texture, if you're making like a ginger beef stir fry, you want. I've seen people make barbecue sandwiches. I was thinking about like a Philly cheesesteak sort of thing where you could use maybe black pepper or steak spice, and then you could bake it on a crispy roll, like a French baguette or something. You could use your own potato, you know, cheese sauce, or you could, you know, depending on if you eat processed foods, there's nut cheeses and all sorts of things. So I've seen people make barbecue sandwiches, and you could probably throw it in I would probably throw it in a wrap, like a chicken wrap that you would eat with like a vegan tzatziki sauce. It's quite versatile, and like I said, it's way better than the processed meats in that, and the texture is incredible. So I'm super pumped about it. So I just wanted to mention it. People ask me for recipes. The jerky, I actually used another recipe. I kind of tweaked it, not because I didn't like what they were saying, but it's just except for the oil, I didn't use oil, but I didn't have some of the things that they were suggesting, so that was part of the issue. And the fajitas, like I said, if you've made fajitas before, just do the same thing, but instead of using chicken or beef, just use these soy curls that are, once they're soaked, for 5-10 minutes. So you're just dumping them in there to warm them up. So I could probably write out something, but I don't really have a fajita mix, like a custom one that I use from Spices. What else? The udon thing, yeah, I could show you frying it separately and then throwing it in, but it's not that difficult, and it uses the udon recipe that I already have. So, but I probably should bang out a couple recipes that are just a little bit specific, showing you what I do to make that. But we'll see what I can do. But I hope you guys like that. I don't do a lot of new recipes these days, but the soy curls are pretty exciting, and obviously the tofu mayo that I made for the pasta salad is a great one. I could probably show that too, but I just throw the stuff in a blender and like a magic bullet, so nothing too exciting there. And weight training, like I said before, I've decided not to do anything right now because my elbow's getting better, my right elbow. It's basically a tricep, like a tendonitis. My massage therapist said I could keep working out, but tendons and that are a little bit hard to, they take a long time to heal. And the one time I did these dips, weighted dips, it was aggravated quite a bit. And it's pretty good right now. It's just very focused on right on the bone, like right here, where the nerve or the tendon goes over. And I'm getting massage every couple of weeks, therapeutic massage. But then all of a sudden I started getting, you can see the forearm. I got pretty big forearms. I've been doing chin-ups and stuff like that. I don't know if it's the gripping or what's happening, but I sort of got like what they would call tennis elbow. This is different from this one. This one's more from the tricep, right in the bone. This one is right here. what they call tennis elbow, which is more from basically the forearm. So flexors and extensors. So not quite sure why that happened, but it kind of came out of nowhere. It wasn't really bugging me when I worked out until I started noticing it after the fact. And then it did start to affect like side raises, lateral raises, because you're holding this weight out on your arm, like trying to hold it. So I don't know if it's like the gripping or what's going on, but I've decided going too heavy, or maybe, I don't know what it is, but frustrating. So I'm just taking a break 100% with some massage and some rest and icing it and that type of thing, stretching. And I just feel that's the best way. I've had injuries that seem to last forever, especially ones that are tendon based. So anyways, but I've built up a fair amount of muscle. I can, so it's frustrating I'm not making the progress right now, but I feel like, once it heals, I'll get back into it and it'll be like muscle memory and stuff. But I tried the last time with this elbow. I was working after I took a break for 4 or 5 weeks. Then I started working out, and it just seemed to be not helping. So take a bit longer than you want to get it healed up, hopefully, and then I can get back into it again. So I'm anxious to do that again. But the spring's here. It's near the end of May, and I've been gardening again, and I bought some transplants. And like peppers, tomatoes that last year I grew myself inside in the winter with grow lights, but this year I didn't bother. So I purchased cucumbers, like little transplants that we're still getting frost warnings at night. So I'm gonna wait a bit to put them into the raised beds. Right now I just put them in the greenhouse outside. It's not a heated greenhouse, but it avoids a lot of the issues until I feel comfortable. I did plant carrots, like seeds, beans, like the snow peas, kale and romaine lettuce in the raised beds. And then in containers, I've got spinach and leaf lettuce. And those are slowly just starting to stick out of the soil, just starting to sprout. So it's a bit of a cool and really windy spring this year for some reason, which is frustrating because the wind blows the greenhouse and it's damaged a bunch of it. It's pieces fall off and stuff's breaking and the door is flimsy. So it's not really meant to get beat like that with the wind that we get here. So, and it also dries out soil. If you have containers or exposed soil, it tends to dry them out. We've had wind blow all the cherries that were just green off the tree last year. And so I got no cherries. They just blew off when they were kind of fragile before they ripened. So do what you can. Some people don't have a lot of yard space. They don't have, if you don't have, places to grow stuff, you can do containers. And if you have to, you can do some things inside, herbs and all that. So that's the long and short of it. I'm not doing a lot of videos these days. I'm just reading and learning and watching YouTube and stuff like that. So don't really have a lot of new things that I'm putting out there as far as videos go, but on Facebook I post what I eat, and Instagram's probably the big one for photos. And like I said, I'm not doing the workouts right now, so there's not much to show that in that case either. So I kind of reshare the same recipes that I had before, and then I post meals when I'm actually eating them most days as well. You can check out on Instagram and Facebook. All right, guys, talk to you later. Hope you guys like that. See ya.